Hello and welcome back to the PRJX Podcast. Today we have me, Alex and Noor again, and our guest speaker, Ref. So today we're going to be talking about our backgrounds when it comes to traveling, kind of where everyone's been, obviously here to experienced travelers. But also, before we get into it, today it is our dear friend, Noor's 21st birthday.
Thank you very much.
A shout out to Noor's birthday from home.
Thank you.
So, getting into the podcast now. So where are you two from then?
You start, Mr. Ref. You're the guest.
Mr. Ref.
So,
You're the guest.
I'm originally from Sydney. So born
Sydney.
in the south of Sydney in Australia.
Yeah.
Quite a beautiful place. And my parents are originally from Lebanon, so they migrated to Sydney around like 1970-ish, just after the White Australia policy ended. So
Wow.
straight in there.
Yeah.
Access granted.
In the deep end, I guess.
Yeah, very much.
That's fair. And what about you, Noor?
Well, I come from this faraway place, similar to Australia, but Egypt.
Similar.
But in a different scale, in another side of the world, Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of sun and stuff. We don't ride camels for those watching as well. Yeah, we have cars and
That's my
stuff.
dreams around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very busy place compared to where we are right now.
So in terms of this summer year for weather and such, Australia, obviously, this is kind of entering your summer now, is it not?
It's winter.
Yeah, it's about to start summer,
Summer.
which will be very hot.
Yeah.
We're getting to get days like 40 degrees, like on the regular. They're
Really?
like days that are like too hot to go
I don't
to
even
the
know if
beach.
England's ever hit 40 degrees,
40 degrees.
let alone on a regular.
Yeah, I don't think you have. I think someone said the highest temperature you guys have had is like 35 degrees or something.
Sounds about
35.
accurate.
Yeah.
I
Probably
assume
like-
35 in England is very hot.
You guys are not built for 35.
They're not like you
Basically
don't
start
have air
melting.
conditioners at home. Like they only have heaters. It's just a major problem for me when I came.
Mm.
Like, you only have heaters, so when you don't have aircon.
Even like 11 is quite hot here, let alone 40.
So
So
people walk around in board shorts and a t-shirt at
Exactly.
11 degrees, and I'm walking around in all my jumpers. And
Yeah,
it's
well,
so
it's like-
cold.
get a little blanket out. No, I love it.
Oh, that's crazy.
So what's it like then, in terms of having Christmas in summer compared to here? Obviously
in
now
winter.
we're going into the cold season for us.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of people
Yeah.
haven't experienced like a summer Christmas. I
No.
myself have never touched snow or been on snow in my life.
Never seen snow.
Never seen snow,
Really?
so I don't really know what a white Christmas is like. But this is
No.
how an Australian summer Christmas usually goes down. So depends on your family preference. You either have like a brekkie or a lunch together. Dinners are not as common on like
So you don't
Christmas.
do like a Christmas dinner or anything?
No, it's
Yeah,
more like a
sorry.
brekkie. A Christmas barbecue is like where it's at. Everyone will have like a barbecue. Like all you can smell when you go outside is barbecued food, like
because
meat.
it's the summer.
Yeah, because it's summer. Like, yeah, barbecued meat or vegetables if you're a vegetarian like me. And then you just go to the beach and enjoy that.
Oh
the
my
day at the
god,
beach. Yeah.
that literally sounds ideal.
I think we should go to Australia soon. You know,
Yeah, should we just
change
post
the
this in
weather. you
Australia
know?
next time?
We're heading to storms right now. Like you should have came to Cornwall last year. It was snowing as hell in March. You know,
Yeah.
I remember in our first year, 2 years ago, we had 4 days off because it was snowing.
they didn't even
And
know
all
how.
roads got closed. There was about a foot of snow going in.
Yeah, they didn't even know how to open or close the university. They didn't even know it. It's the first time
When we
first year.
didn't get in, the buses stopped running because there was ice everywhere. It was just going to be a massive car pileup
Yeah.
if a bus tried to go on a road, let alone a string of students.
Jeez.
Yeah, see, like if you're living on campus, you're trapped. You can't get to Falmouth. You can't go to Truro. You're just trapped there. There's no anything.
I did hear actually it snowed a few years ago. One of my friends was saying it's in third year, and they got their surfboards and went to Tremoa House where the hill is, and it was all
and
snowed,
snowboarded
and they
in it.
just like slid down on the surfboards,
That's
and
so
apparently it was
sick.
like one of their favourite moments on
Yeah,
campus.
people
Yeah.
had baking trays as well. Like some of my flatmates had baking trays, and they're just smashing it in. Creativity in at its most, you know. It's
We
like
lost
what
8
they're
students that year.
doing. Many
Only 8,
students.
jeez. That's quite a good count.
Yeah, body count.
Yeah,
But
that was
no,
fun.
so coming from Australia then to here, and coming from Egypt to here, what was kind of like the biggest change for both of you then?
You go first.
Go on,
For
Noor,
me,
21st. It's your day now. It's
No, we'll get back to where you're from as well, because it's very interesting to know where you're from as well.
basically this, but with more fields.
No, like Egypt, I don't know. Like, I've been to the UK as much. I've been to the more civilized areas to this where we are at right now.
Yeah.
Egypt, I've been with 12 million people, not me physically, but I've seen 12 million people honking and shouting and screaming. Things open at 4 in the morning. Here on Sunday morning, there's no one. It's a ghost town. You get into Falmouth, zero. You can't do anything. There's nothing to do. Egypt, you want to go out at 3 in the morning, you'll find something to do.
Yeah.
Here, sorry mate, you can't. You missed 8 o'clock, sorry, no dinner, no lunch. You're dead, you're a dead man.
You wanted to stay up past 1?
You know, not like
What
even at
are
1,
you?
1 p.m., even if you're like 2 p.m. on Sundays when I was in, I remember first year I used to go into town and like can I go here? Sorry, we're closed. We open on Mondays. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I want to eat some lunch. And the British, the only problem I have here is the British people like to have breakfast in the 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
And have lunch at 12 and dinner at 5. That system doesn't work with me.
That's just illogical.
It doesn't work. I have breakfast whenever I wake up. I have lunch whenever I feel like it, and dinner if it happens, you know.
If it happens.
No, lunch is at 6ish. Lunch for me is at 6 p.m.
Sounds like you're just eating all day, to be honest.
Yeah. No, like I was talking to my friend RJ, who came before onto the podcast. Like, whenever
Yeah.
you're hungry, you just eat. There is no such thing as lunch, breakfast, and
You
dinner.
don't like having a set interval
No, because like
for food.
I wake up, I have breakfast. I can wake up at 2 in the afternoon, and that's my breakfast. I can wake up
Yeah.
at 9 in the morning, and that's my breakfast. It depends on who you are and what time you wake up. I can't have breakfast like in 6 in the morning, you know.
Here's a question though: can you still eat like? Because for me, like breakfast food, I can only eat in the morning. Like
Yeah.
I can't eat like breakfast food in like at like lunch or like dinner in the afternoon.
Oh, I can't have it like at 6 in the afternoon, but like I can have it till like 2ish. I can have like
That's your limit on breakfast food.
Yeah, I can have, like-
2 p.m.
2 p.m. I can have eggs until 2 p.m. I can still have eggs.
Eggs on toast and like an orange cheese.
That's the perfect time. But after that, it's no. I have to
Yeah.
start having lunch. But I
Okay.
can't wake up and have a steak. Like it's impossible. I cannot wake up and have a steak. Like how can you guys
Wake
wake
up
up?
at like 4 p.m. and just have a steak.
No, because I was into like when I last year in second year we used to live on campus as well. So
Yeah.
I'd wake up at 1ish and I go into my room. Well, I had a flatmate called Charlie and another flatmate.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie.
So I'd go in and he's making beans and he's making lunch and I'm like, yeah man, I'm just making some scrambled eggs. And I'm like, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, no, I'm just making my breakfast. He's like, breakfast? And it was the first time I met Charlie and we're like, all our flatmates are like, are you being serious?
Yeah.
It's like this, you know. That's a big thing for me. And I'm a more civilized person. Here it's very, you know, you're in a very boring ghost town. It's just very scary, you know.
Jeez, but
This
people
is an
watching this, you know, from this
Hour
town.
of slating Cornwall.
No, I'm used to like honking, running around, people.
Yeah, that's
Used to the
Communities.
busy life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm happy
This
to
is
come
like the
down
more
here.
settled down life.
Yeah, and the weather is always different as well. It's always sunny.
It's always
Here it's
raining.
always here showering and snowing and windy, and you just don't want to go out of bed, you know.
Basically.
Yeah.
And what was
How's
it kind of like for
Sydney?
you then?
Yeah,
with
how's Sydney, my friend?
So I've pretty much grown up by the beach like my whole life,
My
which is
God.
like such like it's an ideal way. Like
Yeah.
we always say in Australia, we won the lottery by
Sounds like
being
a
in
celebrity
Australia.
life almost.
But is it nice to be living next to the beach?
Yeah, but I live near the beach at home. as
Oh,
well.
because like I live near, because I thought it would be very nice to live next to the beach here,
Yeah.
but then it turned out not to be the best thing.
Oh, like really? Why not?
Because all the showers, all the rain and all that.
Oh yeah, the weather impacts it. That's not the beach's problem. That's the weather's problem.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
The weather's nice. The beach is nice.
I think you just hate this weather.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
sounds like.
You-
It's
you-
terrible. It's terrible. I don't know how British people live with it. I'm sorry.
They got no
It's
choice.
depressing.
They can't just
Yeah.
ship up somewhere.
They're living in an island, man. Just an island.
You can't just change it at will.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
not a
App on the
thermostat.
phone.
No
Oh, you know,
thermostat.
in the future, when we can have like holograms and like matrixes,
Yeah.
maybe you can make it look sunny when it's actually just belting down in the rain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how was the living next to the beach then? Just enjoying it?
I enjoy it. Yeah, I think coming here. I think one of the main reasons I wanted to come here is like I wanted somewhere very different from back home
Yeah.
in terms of like what I'd get up to in my day.
Yeah.
So back home, I'm very outdoors. Like go outside. Here, you have staying indoors quite a lot. I've found because
God, yeah.
the weather's not obviously
Yeah,
accommodating.
it's mainly unless you go surfing.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, which I was surprised to find surf down here. Actually,
Yeah.
I was
Really?
very
This
surprised.
This is
yeah.
one of the biggest places for it, actually, Cornwall.
Yeah, and there's much like a very surf culture because in Australia you
Yeah.
have that surf culture all around our
Oh,
coastline.
God, I can imagine.
Yeah, but in the UK, I feel like it's just concentrated down here, which is
Yeah.
super interesting. Seeing like how like it's so dense over here.
Yeah.
Where in Australia, you go to like a mad surf town, but like 50 people live there.
Yeah.
And then you get the next town, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's quite nice. I
Like
like
you
it. I
wouldn't
like
find
it down
people
here.
surfing in London.
Yeah, you wouldn't find any surfers in London, no.
Artificial waves, sort of thing. Do you do surfing?
Yeah, I've started surfing while I was here, not back home.
Okay.
It's pretty ironic, actually. Like, grew up in Australia and learned to surf in England.
I mean, at least you can take it back of you.
Yeah,
in that regard.
That's the plan. It's one of those things that if you don't start when you're young in Australia, you just won't get into because it's
Yeah.
like you need to go to the beach and you need to like get in the water. You need to actually learn. Plus, my parents are the classic Arab parents, super overprotective of everything. Like,
Yeah.
like even me going in the water, they were like not be
No,
supportive of
no,
that. Yeah,
Just on the shoreline.
yeah,
please.
on the shoreline.
Just walking on the beach.
Just walk on the
Yeah.
beach.
I think I used to wear floaties till I was like 12 years old, man. I knew how to swim, but I just didn't let me go in otherwise.
Yeah.
But you did
Oh,
not,
that's funny.
as ref yourself, you wouldn't be one that wanted to try surfing there, like even in Australia, we didn't. Never thought of like just taking the board and running away.
My ex-girlfriend used to surf, so I surfed with her a few times back home.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like, I wasn't good. I'd just go out and paddle out and then just chat with other people while she surfed on the back.
Just leave her out to do her own thing.
Yeah, because surfing's like 80% sitting out back behind the waves and then 20% catching waves or attempting to. It's actually just a very social thing more than anything,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And do you like it now that you've done it professionally here now? Like
Professionally, that's
not
questionable
like
professionally.
not in competitions, like, not like in competitions, but like just in.
Yeah, I think it's been good to like properly get into it and go with the Foul Surf Society, which is another cool thing about this campus, how involved the societies are with all the students.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I heard that this campus or this uni's got the most societies like per student or something, or even like overall out of like all the universities in the UK. Yeah, and they do like trips, and then they're planning like end of season trips away. It's awesome. Yeah,
like surfing sites, they go to Portugal this year, and they went to I can't remember Morocco last year, and
some of the societies here they go touring as well from
around Cornwall,
one country to another, end up looping back to Cornwall.
They do hitchhiking as well. They do hitchhiking as well. They go around trying not to go to Amsterdam without paying a single cent, you know.
Yeah, that's the Rad Society. Yeah, I heard about the programs they do. Really cool. I was involved in the Surf Society naked calendar shoot for the naked calendar. Yeah.
Oh, so you're flaunting out there.
Yeah, well, it was fun. It was a fun experience. First time ever doing a naked photo shoot.
Yeah,
we weren't completely naked. Don't get too excited, no.
I was going to say, did you bring the calendar?
Nah, it's not released yet.
No. That's fair, man.
Send it to your parents.
Nah, that's definitely. But I'll see it when it'll be in my room. So if they ever stroll into my room, like have a quick look, see what their son's become.
Calendar on the wall. I love that.
I have some questions to ask.
Yeah, they'll have a few questions.
No, that's funny. So you came here on a year abroad.
Semester abroad.
Abroad.
I can't take a year of UK weather.
Try 20.
Yeah.
But no, so you came here on a semester abroad then.
Yeah.
Why here?
Yeah.
Out of all the other places.
Yeah, why Falmouth, not London, not Manchester, no?
Yeah, that's a good point. I've been asking myself the same thing. There's a few reasons. I do renewable energy engineering. That's what I study back home. Okay. And I had to find modules that match my modules back home to be allowed to come on an exchange. Yeah. So there's very limited places in the world which offer renewable energy engineering in English. So I pretty much had a choice between like here, Madrid, it was all in English there. Northern Ireland, University of Ulster, Denmark Technical University, and like somewhere in America. And I just weighed it all up.
All over the place.
Yeah, literally all over the place. And I just looked at Cornwall and I knew it from a show called Poldark, so I like sort of knew about that natural scenery.
That's kind of how we got on the map.
No one had ever heard of it before.
Basically.
Yeah, but it just seemed like a cool place. It seemed different. It seemed like lively. It seemed like the students down here would be like more chill because they've come to live like by the beach and it's out of the city as well. So all that just like married together, and it was an easy choice. Like Cornwall, Falmouth was my first preference, and I got it. Yeah.
And did it live to your expectations?
What?
Did it live to what you expected to see?
I think it surpassed my expectations.
Really?
Yeah.
Surpassed your expectations?
Yeah, because I was my biggest fears were similar to what Noor was saying before, that I'd get here and it'd be a ghost town. Yeah. And there'd be like no one around. And you'd be like, oh, you guys want to go out? And there'd be like 3 people in a bar.
Depends what day of the week, really.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends, yeah. Sometimes you find 50, sometimes you just see 2.
I'm surprised that it surpassed expectation coming from Sydney to here. I imagine like when you compare nightlifes at this point, you know,
come on, nightlife in Sydney
like
is somewhere
said,
there.
It closes at about 1, 2 o'clock here at night and opens at like what, 6? Some of the clubs, 6 or 7. What's it kind of like?
How do you find the nightlife? Well, do you enjoy it?
I mean, the thing is, back from Somerset, there isn't really too much. From where I was, there wasn't really too much of a nightlife. When you check Yeovil and Taunton, it's basically the one big club at each of them. Yeah. So at Taunton, you've got Zinc. There are some other smaller places around, but Zinc was kind of like the big club.
It's called Zinc. Like the stuff you put on your face.
Yeah. It's
you get free entry if you're wearing Zinc.
Basically, as long as you dress up. Yeah. It's a 3-storied club.
Oh, wow.
Each story's got something different on them. Different kind of vibing music, different kind of atmosphere to it, if that makes sense. So you can kind of pick your night out you want based on which story you go to.
And is it expensive?
Basically.
Is it expensive?
Drinks are probably standard prices, probably just below city prices.
So like £1 a pint.
Probably about £4 a pint.
£1
a pint.
Where are you going drinking?
Bloody hell. Suggest me. No. Probably about £4.50 a pint. Entries £5 to £8 depending on the night they do. But then if you go to like the other places around, like take Yeovil for example, they have Club Neo, which it gets a lot of flack and shit and whatnot, but it's kind of the only thing. So as much hate it gets, you don't really have a choice.
Sounds like Club I in
Club
town.
It basically is Club I down here.
Yeah, Club I's bad.
Come on, it's the most amazing thing you can get into Falmouth experience.
No way.
If you want the Falmouth experience, go Club I.
It's like the true experience. Like I told the first years before, like you should go to Club I. It's like your experience if you don't come.
You deceived
You haven't
them.
haven't lived the Falmouth experience if you haven't.
Yeah, I've been there once, and I
How was
just
that?
so
How was that?
seedy.
I went there twice 2 years ago, and
I've never
each
been.
time, the first time was awful, and I was like, okay, the second time will be better. The first time it was just a first impression, it was bad. It was even worse.
Yeah.
There's like, the floors were wet from what I assumed to be piss. There was the bouncers hitting on the women at the bar. It was a bad vibe in general. We left, I think we only stayed for about an hour, to be honest.
That's a long time with Club I.
It's a long
Breaking
time.
records.
Should have
there for
commended
an hour.
myself.
But they say like if you're too drunk, you'll like it. But if you're sober a bit, you won't really admire
Yeah.
it.
Apparently it's on the climb now though, this year. I don't know how accurate that is.
Don't know about that. I think it's the place you go if you can't get anywhere else, because
Yeah.
obviously on Saturday night, Mangoes will be packed out.
Yeah.
Toast will be packed out, although Toast is always really fun.
Yeah.
Kings will be packed, so you're on the options.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, when you kind of look at the nightlife of Somerset to here, there's differences in terms of the amount of venues, but it's similar in terms of the quality of the venues.
Can't you like have like farm parties or something?
So
parties
we
on the
have done
farm?
it a few times where some of our friends own acres of land. We'll basically have a gathering in their field, take like between 20 and 80 people. The biggest one we actually did was 450 people.
Oh,
Wow.
That's almost like a mini festival.
It was basically an illegal rave at that point.
Drain rave.
Yeah. So we can set up in his field and whatnot. If it's just a camp out, he's got a huge barn, which we essentially turn into like a little club area where he's got speakers and the flashing lights and the fanciness and whatnot.
Whoa. These 450 people you guys knew, or did you make some like Facebook event, sell tickets at like $5?
So we actually made a Facebook event of it, but we invited 110 people. And we said you can all bring a +1 or 2. But just tell us before. Only about 50 people told us they would bring like +1s or 2s. And we started the party at 8 o'clock at night. That was when people could come and like set up. And we had about 80 or so people come in at this point, and we were like, oh, okay, turnout's looking pretty good so far. And then about an hour later, you do a head count, and there's about 200 people. And it's like, this is more than we kind of expected at this point. And then skip to midnight, there are people like in a fist fight at one end of the field. There's massive bonfire in the center where people are jumping over it. In the barn itself, where like the music's playing and all the lights are going on, it's packed with people to where everyone's like shoulder to shoulder. There's about 100 in there alone, and we were just losing control of this party. Fuck, how did this happen? It manifested somehow.
Just really good at throwing parties, obviously.
And then
Well,
your
it was
friend-
6 of us that hosted it.
And is the barn having like, do they have cows and chickens there and stuff? Or is it just
Sheep.
Sheep.
Yeah, they had a little pen of sheep, and they were.
They live well.
It was lambing season as well, so they were all about to give birth. And we had 450 people.
That's very
surrounding
stressful.
them.
You definitely distress those
No,
shit.
yeah,
but,
you stress them as well.
I'm
man.
hanging to live with that,
Just
man.
a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But no, in terms of like the field parties, that's how you kind of like make your own there, and then you can set up like hay bales and set up the sound systems on them, benches in front of them, do whatever. You just kind of make it your own.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
what made you come from Somerset, as you asked us? Like, what made you like? I was very interested as well. Like, you have that.
Coming from Somerset to here.
Is it because it's the same atmosphere, but we don't have the farm animals? But is it like the sheep?
Without the animals, just wanted to get away from the tractors. But no,
Tractors. I love tractors. I want a tractor. I want to really ride a tractor.
if you can find the cash for it, go for it. Tractors are expensive though.
Like 20 quid maybe.
Maybe
maybe
a toy
also-
tractor, 20 quid.
Maybe a
Ride
horse
around.
tractor. Shoot it on. Coming from Somerset to here, it was mainly I accepted the offer for this place because Cornwall I've been to Cornwall before a few times. It's very different to, it's more like kind of holiday friendly down here in the UK. A lot of people have second homes in Cornwall. A lot of people do tourism down to Cornwall. So like the idea of there being a university here to go to, it was interesting because I kind of knew the place already. Had no idea what the nightlife here was going to be like. I didn't expect it to be what it was.
Not expected Club I.
No, well, I checked out a few unis before here, and they were all very spread out. Like, I checked out Plymouth, and from their main campus, the business school was like a 15-minute walk away, 20-minute walk, and the accommodation was like another 25-minute walk away.
Whoa,
so you've got to go a long way. This place, like, you start at Glasney, which is about a 5-minute walk from the main campus. Everything's like neatly tucked together. So I kind of picked this uni because the campus was really appealing, but in terms of coming from Somerset to here, yeah, like I say, it was I knew what it was like here, but I had higher expectations, to be honest. Kind of opposite of you.
Yeah.
I think the nightlife's not that bad. I think everyone gives it a bad rap, but like you think about big cities, for example, like the nightlife in Sydney.
Yeah.
It is fun if you go out with like the right people into the right places. But there's a lot of like just shit clubs out there.
Yeah.
Like you have to pay to get into as well, and you just like it's just the most seedy people in there.
Yeah.
And like everyone, like the music's bad. And like no one's having a good time, and the drinks like really expensive as well.
Yeah.
Where like you come here and like you know everyone that's out, which I guess can be good and bad. But if you're friendly,
kinda
Depends on
the
who
same.
you are and what you do. Like if you did something bad, you don't want to be always seen out. You know.
I think it's
Yeah.
pretty similar here because it's like so small and tight knit down here.
Yeah.
If you go out, you bounce it. Like every time I go out, I see our course mates out.
No, you will
So-
see them. Like if you start going out, you'll see the right people, the same people every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like places like Toast are really fun. I don't know if you guys have been to
Really?
Toast on a night
I've been
out.
to Toast a few times. Yeah.
Is
I
that
find
like-
it really like a really cool little like niche little club, and they've always got
Okay.
good music going on in there. Like get good DJs in.
Do you like
Yeah.
it? Do
Yeah,
you
I really
it more-
like Toast.
Would you like it more than Club I?
Oh, 100%. It's like a whole new level. I think Toast for me is like the best, like my favorite place to go
Yeah.
out, and then probably like Kings, and then Five sits somewhere around there, and
Yeah.
then like Mangoes and Club I are like near the bottom, I would say.
I
What
think-
would you say like
think
was
that'd be
your
most
nicest
people's.
experience?
Like tier list as well. Yeah. Rank of S to D rank or whatever.
Mines are all like okay, maybe. Then
Yeah. Have you been to
Mangoes.
any of the?
I've only been to Mangoes, Kings, Toast in first year. I don't know how it's been this year.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've
may
been to
change a lot.
Mono, but they destroyed Mono.
Oh, I
don't
heard
know
about that place. It was a gay
Mono
nightclub
was
or gay
decent,
bar.
though.
Or?
You know, it's some nights I think, which
Okay, yeah.
most clubs are doing now. They have like even in Mangoes they're doing well, I don't know what day they do it for LGBTQ. I don't know. They do it
Yeah.
one night, but like,
Okay, that's cool.
it was nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice place. It was an upstairs and downstairs area.
Yeah.
So you'd have your bar down, like even like similar to Mangoes, where you have your bar downstairs and upstairs would be the music.
Yeah.
So that's what they had.
Okay.
I don't know, but the guy just destroyed it. I don't know what he did with it.
He just turned it upside down.
It's a
hammer.
it's a potential opportunity for anyone who seeks to do a business. I feel like they can do an amazing club inside there.
I reckon make it an Arab place.
I really wanted to make
Arab-
it. I really
Turn it
wanted to
into
make
like
a
a
shisha
shisha
bar.
bar.
Yeah,
I
shisha
was
bar.
so into a shisha
There
bar.
you go.
But the problem is, like the UK, you can't have like she's smoking inside, which is really irritating.
Really?
Yeah,
I think
like
you can if the business permits it.
you think?
Yeah.
Because like
As long
it's
as
really
in the
cool.
policy.
Because like I'd love to have a smoking inside because it's the best. In Egypt, you smoke anywhere. I
Just on this podcast.
you know,
Actually brought one with you right here, boys.
I just
Demonstration.
bring my shisha up, yeah, and like you're just smoking up. No, it's fun, you know. It's an
is,
experience.
yeah, it
Even
is
in
fun.
Spain, like when I went to Spain, me and my friend last year, you just see them in clubs. In clubs, they'd have a table, and everyone would be having a shisha here, a shisha there. They'd be like, and
Yeah.
the clubs would be open till 7 in the morning.
I mean, do you remember when we went to Bournemouth
Yeah.
last year? And we tried to go out and just like find some decent clubs to go and chill a night at. We spent a few hours at a couple of clubs that weren't really all that. We were paying for cocktails that were about 12 quid a cocktail. Absolutely mental.
It's
And
pretty Sydney prices.
yeah, the
It's a
prices
city,
of
it's
like
a city life.
Yeah.
prices of drinks at other places, like a pint would be about £5.80
Yeah,
for 6
wow.
quid. And we all eventually found a shisha bar. And we all just kind of sat there like, let's just wind down on the shishas for the night. That was fun. So how did the clubs here, did you do much clubbing back in Cairo? Or-
Clubbing, no, like in Cairo, because you have to be above 21 to start clubbing.
Really?
So
Can
it's not,
now.
you can't be,
Starting today.
unless you know networks, unless you know someone and you have to be like bitchy about it, or you have to you have to have a cocky attitude to the bouncer, or you have to give them money or something. You have to be like, oh, look at me, I'm the son of I don't know. You have to be like, you have to be very arrogant as well, like, you know, with the people.
Right.
And like, you have to get the foreigner with you. They love foreigners. That's in the beginning. That's like in the beginning. And then like when you're in the middle age, okay, it's fine, but like, you know.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so I want to go, and he's like, no, you're too young. And I'm like, yeah, you just let the 16-year-old inside, you know, there's a problem. No, because it's against the law.
He's
so
just
like,
tucking away his 50s, no?
yeah, you know, just tucking the 50s and the 100s, you know. No, and you just go like, oh, when the guy's not looking, you just give him like £300. He's like, oh, really? Yeah.
300 quid to get into a club.
No, not quid.
Would not pay.
No. 300 quid is too different from Egyptian pounds, because like one British pound is 20 Egyptian pounds, so it's like.
Okay.
So like 200 quid, as you say it, is 2,000 pounds or 4,000 Egyptian pounds. You'll never pay 200 quid to get into a club. I would never do it. I would never club in.
Not bad.
No, but like in the culture in Egypt, I don't know. Like in our perspective in Egypt, we usually go to cafes, or we go to bars, or we go to wherever, which is a nice. We love eating. That's where we go usually.
I love eating too. Yeah.
So that's the element. Like we don't go.
Just have eating clubs where you sit there.
Eating society.
The eating society. No, we don't go to pubs. We don't go to pubs every weekend, and we don't go like clubbing every. It wasn't like the main thing. There's house parties.
Yeah, is like alcohol and stuff more on the down low, seeing as it's like a manly Muslim
Yeah,
country,
like,
but obviously it's still like behind closed doors.
Well, that's the thing. Like in most countries like that, yeah,
That's a
there's.
great question, actually.
Even but we have a lot of Christians as well in Egypt, so it's not a problem with drinking, because people are allowed to drink. So we're not very close to like Saudi Arabia or anything.
Yeah.
But you can drink, but it's not like it's in closed doors, as you said, like.
Yeah. Not on the. Like,
and some people will be like acting that they don't drink, but you'll see them snorkeling a big bottle of just drinking. They'll be chugging a bottle of just anything, Absolute or anything, you know. But you'll find drinks anywhere. It's easy to find people. There's even vendors for alcohol. You'll find this guy. You call him on the phone. No, like a vendor. You call this guy.
Where you literally meant like an alcohol dealer.
Yeah. You call him and he gets you this very like dodgy thing where he gets you the bag, like, and you go get the drinks. You know, it's just.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like drug dealing, but in a different
500
way.
milliliters of Corona.
Just that, you know. I'll just deliver it to.
Bring the limes.
Just meet me outside, you know.
The limes.
Just meet me in front of Club I, you know. Just.
Oh, that's funny.
But like, that's a clubbing scene. Like that's why we always like clubbing here, because it's not a hassle.
Yeah.
Like Egypt, it just sounds like a big hassle, and you have to pay too much to have fun. Here you can just go to anywhere, Toast, Club I, even Mango's.
Just like after this.
just after this, you know, just go pay £1 and you're just happy nights, you know. Happy days. Get drunk, enjoy life, you know.
Yeah.
Everything's nice.
Speaking about Arab partying, so my parents are from Lebanon, as I said before.
Oh, Lebanon.
And
party in Lebanon. Beirut is amazing.
I'm about to get educated.
Yeah, especially before the civil war. So like, that's why a lot of Lebanese people moved out of Lebanon, because they had a civil war.
A lot of my parents were in Lebanon. They go a lot, even before the civil war. They loved it.
Yeah. So like, it was like Beirut was known as like the Paris of the Middle East, and it was like the party town.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Cool. And until now, the people go just before the protest they had.
Yeah.
People go in New Year there. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You'd have people from all around the world going.
It's insane. Like, I know a guy who did a study abroad. He's like 28, 30 now, and was just talking to me like 5 years ago in Sydney. I was at my sister's wedding actually.
Okay.
And he was like, "Dude, you have to do a study abroad." And I was like, "Oh, all right, I'll look into it."
That was your inspiration.
Yeah, pretty much. And he was like, he went to Lebanon. He was supposed to be there for a year, and he loved it that much that he managed to like somehow convince the university to let him stay a whole other year in Lebanon doing a study abroad. Him then. Yeah, and I was like, "Dude, didn't you waste so much money?" And he was like, "Yeah, but I wish I spent more."
That's funny.
No, because it's a beautiful place, like especially because it's near the waters as well. So there's a beach as well, but the scenery, the mountains. You can also go skiing. There's a lot of other things to do.
The mountains are insane. Like, they're really cool.
They're really nice, and the Lebanese food is amazing.
Yeah, it's the best food out of all.
Out of
cuisine,
Everyone agrees as well.
It's subjective at this point.
Yeah.
No, the music, the dancing, the atmosphere, the people are very friendly.
Yeah.
It's a different place. It's just it's this nice area, you know. Like
even with the protests, they're treating it more like a party.
Yeah, like they had a rave.
Literally, they got like the drums, they're dancing.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool.
I don't know if you saw them. Like, they had the DJ in the protest, and they're doing like a dancing, and it's really interesting.
The dabki.
Yeah.
The dabki is like a Lebanese dance that you do at like a wedding, or it's not just Lebanese. It's across all Arab, but you get in like a circle, like you like link arms, and it's like the leaders they lead the beat, and they're doing crazy stuff. They're like have this thing that they spin, and they're like creating the beat, and then to follow just like a simple step process to stay in sync. But it's really fun, and you have like people of all ages joining this circle, and like genders.
Is this something that you're
everything.
taught then? Or do you just literally make it up as you go?
You learn it at weddings.
I don't think
I'd
you
say.
learn it from weddings and you see it like
Okay.
at a younger age, so you're just used to it.
So
And then,
it kind of here we have like the tradition in the UK. There's Morris dancing, which is like the biggest thing.
what's
where
Morris dancing?
He put on like your red and green suspenders and like a black top, and everyone kind of links arms and throws their legs out during like a dance. I just kicked you in the foot there. It's no, it's really like kind of traditional dance that some people do it at weddings. It's mainly for like village festivities.
Oh,
Like back in Somerset,
You
if
do it
there's
a
ever
lot.
like a village festivity where I'm from in Martock or Somerton or whatnot, they're sometimes they'll have Morris dancing acts, particularly where I'm from in Martock. But very different like kind of music to what you say. It's not like following a beat. It's more like kind of string instruments.
My mind's going to real like country, like
Yeah, that's
type
basically
music.
it.
Yeah.
But would that be also like in London? So if I go ask someone from London, I'll be like,
That would not be London, no.
they ask
It's
these
very country, I think.
Yeah.
Don't
So
quote
maybe
me
in
on that.
Cornwall I might ask. They might.
Oh, they'd probably do it down here, definitely. Because like I said, there's a lot of similarities here between where I'm from. But when you come from, obviously, Sydney and Cairo, what's it like meeting other people then? Because I imagine the people down here are very different to the people you have in Sydney or the people you have in Cairo. Obviously, for me, it's not much different. There
They
are
all
people
speak
I
English.
know down here from Somerset.
Do you know one thing I find so interesting about British people, or like maybe like a little good thing about British people?
Go on.
It's like whenever you greet someone, the first thing they'll say to you is, "You alright?" Yeah. And like back home, that's like a confronting thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
"You alright there, mate?" And like over here, you say someone, you're like, "You alright? You alright?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like, when back home, it's like when you see someone, you're like, you more say like, "What's going on? What's up?" And it's more like chill. Over here, it's like, you just like, I don't know what they're asking.
The thing is,
like,
you can say like, you can greet someone, "Oh, you alright?" And they'll respond with, "Oh, alright." It's just back and forth like that.
What about if you're actually asking someone if they're alright? Like they just won't know.
alright?
Are you alright?
Oh my god.
No, especially if you're not from this culture, you won't really understand this. You come in and like, even like when I studied in Sheffield, and you're the person when you're buying a sandwich, she's like, "Hello there, lovely." And you won't really understand like
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling, and like, you're not used to someone telling like if someone tells that in Egypt, it sounds really weird. Saying hi, darling, it's not very, it just doesn't sound weird.
There's a lot of kind of like personal communication.
Yeah, it's
in
like
how
you-
we all speak.
Yeah, so you
Oh,
don't
my
know.
lover, how you doing?
Yeah, and then there's the different dialects in English. So like if you're from Liverpool or from Manchester or from Leeds, people have different dialects, especially the Scouse accent. You'd never understand anyone who has a Scouse accent.
Where's the Scouse accent from?
From Liverpool.
Oh, from
Yeah,
Liverpool, yeah.
it's
no.
almost like a different language entirely.
Yeah, that is
So
hard
it's
to
just you
understand.
just don't understand them, or someone speaks too fast or something.
Yeah. Marco's watching this right now going, bastards.
And like just coming to Cornwall, I don't know. I traveled a lot, so I don't know. Egypt, what's nice about it's like we have the common language like here in England, but we speak Arabic and stuff. I don't know. Here the people are more chill. It's fun. There's more international scope, which I'm interested in. You see people from France, Spain, Portugal, which is interesting. In Egypt, we're the same people, so you'd see Alex from Egypt, Trev from Egypt. We're all just talking the same
That's
mindset.
a good question, actually. So in Sydney as well, is it very much just Australian people down there, or do you have many international diversity?
It's funny, Australian people.
Australia.
Really,
Well, like, when I think Australian people, I think mainly like Indigenous Australians.
Right.
Yeah, but Sydney's like a very multicultural city.
Okay.
Every city in Australia is very multicultural because we had those waves of migration around from like the 40s to like the 70s.
Yeah.
So we had like Greeks, Italians, Spanish people, Lebanese, Egyptian
wow.
people.
Yeah, you find about
Literally
that.
everyone.
Yeah, like people from Vietnam, people from China, Japan. So literally, like you can go like 5 minutes in like a different suburb in Sydney, and there'll be like a whole different sort of community. And where I live in Sydney, like my next door neighbours are Japanese, and then we've got Greek next door neighbours, and Spanish next door neighbours, and Italians that live over there.
That is like
And
not the case in Somerset at
That's
all.
not the case in Cairo as well.
Yeah.
We are not culturally diverse in Somerset.
Cairo isn't culturally diverse. No, we're culturally diverse inside ourselves. So you'd find different people from different areas. You'll find them doing different things, because there's a lot of gated communities, and Cairo is huge. We're 12 million people in Cairo. So there's different like tactics to do things, how to do certain things. You'll find different food ways of eating. It's really culture diverse. But like when you say like international, you'll only find like people like ambassadors, their sons, and that's it. If you go to international schools, maybe you might find that.
Yeah.
You find tourists where you can just see them in hotels, which is
Yeah.
that's like you're the dream. When you see foreigners in Egypt, people are really happy, especially if you're blonde.
You know,
and
cash is coming in.
cash is coming in, so we can pay the rent.
I remember
you know?
you saying actually, you said like haggling in Egypt is almost like an activity
Yeah, exactly.
that you just do when you go shopping.
yeah.
Whereas
Like,
over here, you don't really
just,
haggle. If you say, like, if you go to buy a bag now, that's 40 quid, will you take 30? No.
Yeah,
Get out.
No. In Egypt, it's like that. Like our friend Alex Feiner, he came back in the summer. The guy wanted to sell him, like, we have this traditional outfit. It's called the galabeya.
Okay.
So people wear it, and the guy was offering it. It really costs like around 50 Egyptian pounds or something.
Yeah.
The guy saw Alex buy. He's blonde. He has blue eyes. Gold mine. Wow, Alex, it's a gold mine for him.
Prime
Like,
target.
$200.
Yeah.
$200 and Alex was like, yeah, I'm going to get the money out. I'm like, Alex, no. $200 what, Alex? It's only worth 50 Egyptian pounds, which is like, say, maybe $10, $15 or something.
Yeah.
So $15 to $200, you know? And when in the souk, when you go in there and they know you're Egyptian, the price changed drastically.
Yeah.
And if they see you like leaving the shop and you're not buying something, they will keep decreasing the price until you buy it. Unless it may be £5. No,
Yeah.
they want you to buy.
It's similar to when I've gone to Tenerife before, the kind of haggling in the market area. There'd be times where I'd be browsing at like these fake watches or whatever, and they start the price.
And
they
they're
look
fake,
at me.
mate. You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
But like
You
they
might be
start the
like-
price on, they're like 50 euro. And I'm like, I've only got 10 on me. And they're like, okay, down to 40. I'm like, I've only got 10 on me. 30? What don't you get about this? This is 10 quid. Yeah, fine, 20, final price. I can't do it. I just start walking away. Like 15. I'm like, oh, here's another fiver. Sure, I'll take that.
Yeah. It's funny, the whole negotiating thing, because I was in India at the start of this year doing like an internship with a social enterprise there called Pollinate Energy. So they make solar products and deliver them to like slum communities, like solar lights. They don't have to use kerosene lamps and stuff. It was really cool, really interesting work. But yeah, the whole negotiating thing, I'm someone who does like negotiate, as you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Like they'll tell you this price and you walk away and then you barter down to a fair price.
Yeah.
But one of the girls who was doing the internship, her name's Annika, her perspective on it was like, we come from a more privileged area, so we should just pay their original price.
Right.
So she doesn't really like negotiate down. Because like she's like, to us it's like very minuscule, but to them it could be like a big difference.
Yeah.
And no one had really put that into perspective for me before until she mentioned it. So yeah, when I go like to or for the rest of the trip in India, like I would usually not barter them down too much. I'd just go like the first one, and then I'd be like, yeah, okay.
One step
I like
down.
that. That's a good perspective. Not many people may see it, but like sometimes you know that it's not worth that. And like he has a big store, and you wouldn't like, especially like, in India, but like when you're going to a major big souk and you know that they're gonna try, like say this bottle they want to sell it for you for $200. I'm not gonna pay $200 for like an empty bottle. You know? I know that it's only gonna cost $10.
Yeah.
I can't pay $200 for just a bottle.
Yeah.
If I know.
Yeah. It's all about big balance, I think, knowing its worth and also not like trying to get them down too little, I think.
Do you have to be quite assertive when it comes to haggling?
Yeah.
Like, do you really have to put, no, I'm paying 20 for this 80 euro
Yeah.
necklace? And
No,
then
no,
they're
you
like,
have
no,
to.
you're paying 80, or do you actually have to like
No, you
kinda
just say
argue
like,
it?
you say this bottle is worth $100. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna.
Good bottle.
I'm paying only $10.
Is it a phone as well?
Yeah, what's this bottle do? Why is this bottle so expensive?
Package. It's like, no, $10. I'm like, no, it's only 15. And then you start leaving. If the negotiations don't work, like one shop, I was buying the shishas to get them back to campus.
Yeah.
And like the guy wanted me to get like, he wanted me to pay.
Smuggling cargo.
He wanted
Shishas.
he wanted me to pay 4,000 Egyptian pounds
Okay.
for 6 shishas. I only paid 600 Egyptian pounds in the end, from 4,000 to 600, which because I knew that they did not cost that much.
Yeah.
The guy brought me juice, water, cookies. He wanted me to live with him the experience, you know.
He even took you out for dinner and your mum.
No, and he showed me about his brother, and he got him to me, and it's like, come on. I'm like, no, it's only this price. And he's like, man, no, it's. And if you're not into the haggling system, they know that you don't know it, and they will make you do it. If you don't do it, you start leaving, and as you leave, they're gonna start deducting the prices. They're gonna, okay, 10, 15, 5, you know. And by the time you just, okay, then I'll pay that.
What if you've already walked out? They just follow you.
No.
Yeah,
Tailgate
literally.
you.
In India, they do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably like they follow you, and it's like sometimes they'll like follow you for quite a while.
Back to your
They're
house.
just asking you like the whole time, like, are you sure you don't want this drum? And you're like, no, I don't need this drum. But thank you.
No, that'd be very spooky to
Oh
me, for
my
me, to be
God.
honest. Just like a guy following me, but like, no.
Yeah.
They know that you want it. Because if I go and I want to buy the bottle, I want to buy other stuff. So if he agrees for this, I might want to buy something else.
Yeah.
And I'll try and make a deal for a package. I'll have 6 bottles and I have the phone and I'll have an extra. I'll buy that tree and I'll buy that and I'll make a big, nice
Take
package.
your chair.
Take your chair. I'll make a nice package and then go home.
Yeah.
I need to get some stuff for myself. I'm not gonna make him win the fight. I need to win as well.
Okay.
It's a big debate. You have to keep fighting.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't see you fighting, he's just gonna keep raising the price. Like Alex, I told you, Alex was gonna pay $200 for something that's not worth $200.
It's quite interesting, the whole culture of
Haggling.
buying.
Yeah, and you won't
Yes.
haggle in the UK. Like, you can't go in to the shop. I can't go to Kofi right now and say, so I think this sandwich is costing 1.5. I can't say, like, I go to Costa or I go on the high street and I go there, like, to Vodafone, like, no, change this, or I can't go to Subway.
Starbucks.
Imagine if you could though.
Yeah, imagine that. Haggle down the price of a coffee. They've already made it for you. That's £3.20. No,
It's only
£1.80.
I know where you get the coffee from. No, it's not worth it, You can't go to Starbucks and say, like, okay, come on, the panini is for £5. What panini is for £5? You can't. It's not. So you just pay by card. You're like, okay, card or cash, you just pay. Okay.
Yeah, I see.
Unless then, if you can't pay, you're gonna start doing the dishes. Like, we have this thing in Egypt. If you don't, we have like, we know when it's too expensive and you don't have the money, you say, like, you're gonna start doing the dishes.
What, like you go into the restaurant's kitchen and start doing it?
No, we don't.
That's a
actually
real
do-
thing.
No, we don't do it. But that's like what we say, like when you can't pay. Like when you see like a big price and you're like, we know what we're gonna do now. We're gonna start doing the dishes in this
You got
place.
to work for us.
Yeah.
That will pay for it because we know we'd never go to a place without knowing how much money it's worth to go into it. Like, we wouldn't go to a really expensive restaurant without knowing that, we can pay for it. If you can pay for it, we're gonna go in. We're not gonna be like, okay, so this costs $20,000 and we only have £20 in our pockets and we're just gonna go in. Because they're gonna be calling the law for us. Like, they're gonna be calling law enforcement. They're gonna call the cops. They're gonna be like, we have small kids that are paying £20. They're not paying the full price. You're gonna
Does
start
any
doing the
of this
dishes.
transfer over to Australia?
No, it's very similar to over here.
You can't haggle in Australia?
No way. You pay the price, and our wages are the highest in the world. Like
Really?
Australia, the highest minimum wage in the world.
How much would that be?
I think our minimum wage, don't quote me on it, but I think it's like $20 an hour.
20.
That's the minimum. So that's
And
like,
how would that
it's
be,
like
like-
£11 an hour, roughly.
Yeah.
Or 12, depending on the exchange rate.
Yeah.
And the wages are good, but like there's like been a bit of a problem that wages haven't gone up in like 17 years.
Yeah,
They've
they're
just
very
been like
stagnant.
stagnant with inflation,
That's
probably
fine,
similar in the UK.
Well, that's fun. They're trying to fight now in the UK to get it to 10.5, like in 3 years. You make it 11 now, so it's
What is it? 11
like in the UK, they're trying to get it to 10.5 in 3 years,
like the minimum wage?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
an extra an hour. And then you're saying you have 11 right now, so I think 11 is fine. The UK is
I
struggling.
think 11's fine.
Yeah.
The UK's just in a bit of a shithole.
Yeah,
right
I've
now.
heard people that have jobs here get paid like significantly less than like as university students we would back home.
Really?
Yeah, so like, I don't know, most people I know that have a job alongside uni, it's much more common back home in Australia to work while you're at university.
Really?
Because
Okay.
not many people move out of home and then go to go live at the university. We go to the universities in the cities we already live in, since 80% of our population's along the coast.
Yeah.
So my university is 20 minutes from my parents' house. So I like go to university 2 or 3 days a week, and then I work 2 or 3 days a week.
Okay.
And you don't get a maintenance loan like you do here. You get like a
I
loan
wouldn't
to pay
survive
for
without
your
my maintenance loan.
yeah. If
Really?
you had to
Really?
like pay rent, it would be really difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, the work aspect is that means that us students always have like saved up money, and most of us live at home, so we're not paying rent.
Yeah.
We're getting, I guess, free food from our parents or you're cooking your own. And then, yeah, literally we just save up for like travel and other things that we want to do.
So like if you live in Sydney, you go to the University of Sydney or wherever the area is, or what area you're in.
Most people even travel 2 hours out of Sydney to get to the university. Like they live in the Blue Mountains, they live in on the Central Coast or in
Oh my
Wollongong.
god, commuting to get to uni.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
it's a mission. They're like real tired by the end of the day.
In fairness, back where I live, Somerset is about 2.5 hours away from this campus.
Really?
So I can't
Would you
imagine
travel,
traveling
like if you had a car,
No.
would you go
I wouldn't make that trip just to come in for a lecture.
just for a 9 a.m.
People
lecture?
do that back in Sydney.
Really?
It's 2.5 hours one way and then 2.5 hours back.
Even
home.
if it's a 9 a.m.?
Yeah, I know people that leave their house at like 6 a.m.
Just to go for a 1 hour.
They get
No,
there at, like,
I wouldn't
8:30.
do it. Like, I live 30 minutes away from campus, and if I have an 9 a.m. and I'm not bothered, I would not go. I would not really care.
The lecturers are listening on this right now.
I don't care.
They're all down. We've caught him.
We're done with the semester.
But here you go. You got your own like, little thing going on. You don't need uni anymore.
Basically.
Next
So-
Joe Rogan.
What do you think was that? Like, you're almost done with the year.
Yeah, I've got a week left in Cornwall.
Crazy. Like, now you're going back to civilization, leaving this.
I'm
ghost
traveling
town.
Europe for a month and then going back home.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
That's beautiful. What would you think that could be like your most interesting insight or most craziest thing you've done here? What's something crazy or something you admire that you wouldn't forget, like, about Falmouth?
I've got a few crazy things here.
Have you?
Go for it. Tell us. Like, I'm really interested to see, like,
Of course,
the
you did a
person
bit
from
of
Australia.
comedy here as well.
Yeah.
Like,
So
stand-up comedy.
Stand-up comedy was something I've wanted to try since I was, maybe like 16. Started watching stand-up, on YouTube, watching a bit of Dave Chappelle. And I just love the idea of being able to make people laugh, but I also like the idea of making a message while you do it. And I just wrote my own jokes and my own stories on the bus ride from London to Cornwall is when I started like writing them all up. So I came up with like 4 topics, and then I messaged the Stannery when I found out they do open mic nights, and I was like, I'd love to be in a slot. And they got back and like, have this slot. So then I was practicing for like 3 weeks, maybe two times a week. I'd stand up in my room and like present the comedy to myself. Jesus. And the good test for me was if I found it funny, I knew it'd be funny. Like I'd be like,
you got to make yourself laugh.
Yeah, exactly. So. And if no one laughed, at least I'd be up on stage like laughing at it. not the worst thing in the world. And that got filmed and that was on Facebook, and that was a really good night. I didn't expect it to go as well as it did. The jokes pretty much all landed. A few jokes I made were a bit relevant more to Sydney, which more location jokes. That was good feedback for myself.
Okay.
But that was a mental experience.
That's so interesting to me, like people doing stand-up comedy here. I really wouldn't think, because of how tight-knit this kind of community is, we'd have anyone even attempt to do stand-up comedy.
Would you do stand-up comedy?
God, no. The thought of it is like terrifying to me.
Oh, why not? You can give it a go. It's not as scary as you think.
What joke would you say? Like, what's very...
I'm not really good at one-liners.
No.
Like, I don't like those sort of like, I don't like them, but punny sort of jokes have never come naturally
like
to me.
Jimmy Carr kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
I like more like situational story sort of jokes with like messages or punchlines.
So, what's one like you've done like in your last one? What was something?
You're about to ask me to tell a joke.
Jeez.
Yeah, I want to say like a joke.
And present my
you
comedy.
can do a sit-up. You can sit.
Okay. So
That's
like, so you're an Arab, right?
Yeah.
And I'm an Arab.
Right.
Sorry,
So
Alex.
2 Arabs and not Arabs.
Sorry, Alex.
2 Arabs sat at a
We're not
bar.
racially profiling you.
See?
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
So like there's a thing about Arab parents and the way they decide to raise their children.
Okay.
It's like pretty much the main way they like to discipline their kids is like to hit them. To like accordingly, like we don't just get like mauled in the corner, like we'll get like a few smacks. So for example, my parents used to make me put like a pillow on my mouth so like I wouldn't like scream too loud.
Oh my
and
God.
then like put my feet up in the air and then like give me like smacks with like a bit of a hose like on the bottom of my feet. They weren't like animals, they were like they left the rest of the body
Savages.
sweet.
They're gagging you up.
Yeah, a little bit. I was gagging myself. It was willed. And then I have strong feet for it though, so it's not the end of the world. And then it's funny because like I'm a family of 7, and you'll find a lot of Arabs.
7?
people?
Yeah, 7 kids.
Oh my God.
And then like
You
find,
don't have 7 kids.
No, I don't have 7 kids. Not that I know of.
Not that you know.
Yeah.
They might be existing.
Could
but you
do,
don't know.
yeah, could do. But so like every Arab I know has at least like 4 people in their family, if not more. And I couldn't figure out like why Arabs had such big families until recently, where it all clicked for me.
Okay.
So like Arabs have more kids, so they can keep hitting their kids, because once you reach like 15, you're like unhittable at that stage. You're like almost too strong for your parents to hit you.
You start fighting back at that
you
age.
fight back. So they have a new kid to keep hitting them. It's like when you play like video games, right? Like once you finish a video game, it gets boring, right? So you buy another one. So like my parents just had
keep on
another
having the
kid.
kids.
They just keep having kids.
Yeah, because every kid reacts differently. Like I was a kid who would put them out, like put a pillow, but my older brother used to run away from my dad when he was like his turn to get disciplined. Like literally in the street, you'd be like doing laps and my dad would be chasing him. We're talking like 1980s, so like it's very acceptable for people to be hitting their kids.
I was going to say, is that what it's like back there?
Nah, back in the 80s, everyone hit the kids in Australia. Even my brother got tied up to the tree one day. And I think my parents caught him smoking weed or something. And that was a big no-no. And they didn't, like, they hit his feet again. And the neighbours put their head over the fence and they were like, do you need any help? But they weren't talking to my brother, they were talking to my parents, asking him if they needed help, like disciplining my brother.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So
do they hit people in the UK?
Surely back in the day.
More than likely back in the day, probably behind closed doors, not publicly.
Not publicly.
No.
Not publicly.
But obviously now that probably imprisonment if you get caught doing that.
Yeah,
so
it's very illegal now.
Very, very illegal.
My parents are not happy about that.
That's abusement.
That's
that's abuse.
Kids,
children abuse.
Yeah. Child abuse.
Child abuse.
Very, very illegal.
Yeah, and there's much better ways to raise your kid than to hit them.
Smack their feet with a belt.
Yeah, no, belt was okay. The hose was painful though. It's funny because on the beach in Sydney in summer, when it's like above 35, the sand is really hot.
Yeah.
Like it's like burning coals. But I just walk on it normally. Like it doesn't affect me because my feet are so like. And I walk barefoot everywhere. But then you just see other people just running, like literally sprinting to the water.
Be me.
Yeah.
Dive into it.
It's quite a funny process to watch. You see little kids like fall into the sand and you just like watch them in pain and like.
Just the smoke searing off their body.
Yeah, literally.
That's the smell of barbecue.
Yeah.
Christmas.
A nice brisket for Christmas, you know?
A brisket?
Yeah, you don't know the brisket?
What's that?
It's like a beef dish, I don't know. Do you know the brisket?
Yeah.
Do you barbecue it?
Yeah, you can barbecue it. You can cook it on like a stove or something.
It's mainly like cooking beef in a pot of like its own juices.
Oh, okay. I think I do know this. Yeah. Since going
like
veg, I don't know much meat
dish.
anymore. It's like a race from my mind, all meat dishes.
Oh, really?
Oh, because you're vegetarian now.
I'm vegetarian, yeah.
How was that in Falmouth?
Oh, it's quite good actually. I don't eat out much, so it's not an issue, and you can cook veggie food quite easily. So it hasn't been an issue. But there's some really good veggie food in town. I don't know if you guys have tried the Harbour Lights vegan fish.
I haven't.
Vegan fish?
Yeah, vegan fish.
Vegan.
It tastes better than actual fish, I think.
How?
Really?
How?
I don't know how they do it, but
I know. I would never eat vegan.
Noah's a big fan of his meat dishes.
Oh, I love meat. No, because like my flatmate, she gave me vegan chicken for Christmas, the Secret Santa. But I can't do that.
Slapped her merciless.
Yeah.
No, because I don't understand. So you're switching to vegan or becoming a vegan or a vegetarian, and you want to eat vegan chicken. You want to eat chicken, but you're eating processed crap. You're eating processed crap. I'm sorry, but
this is for another debate.
No,
we can talk about it later.
This is gonna get controversial.
We'll talk about it later.
But I
mean, like,
just to answer it quickly, I think the reason people still eat that is because they go vegetarian, not because they don't like the taste of meat. It's because of the wider
sustainability and killing the animals and all this.
And just like a basic like efficiency. You
know?
Yeah,
if she killed it, when I killed the cow
you
stops.
kill it personally?
No. But in Egypt, and we have Eids like this.
It's differently.
Is it draining from the street? Yeah, I've seen that in Lebanon.
No, we kill it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
but
I guess it's just different.
No, but we kill it, and it stops eating your vegetarian food, your grasslands, and all that. So it makes it really nice. You know, we're saving the planet as well.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to eat it to begin with. Is the whole point with vegetarians.
It eats it. It eats it already. Like the cows already eat this stuff.
Yeah, but if you don't raise the cow to begin with, then it will never eat the land. You know.
Well, we have to have cows.
We don't have to. We want to.
You can. They'll go extinct if there's no cows. Like we need to have cows.
No, they'll just naturally reproduce at a sustainable rate.
And then you need to have your nice beef burger. Like how
Before this gets any deeper, I think it's about time to wrap it up. To be honest.
Good.
Nice.
So just
like a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Maybe to a cliffhanger. Then have part 2, maybe.
Maybe part 2. Well, you're only down here another week, aren't you? So.
That's what you want to Skype me in, but
we can Skype you in.
We can experiment with different things. But just to close out, then, last thing to say: what do you think? How would you feel about going back now, after being here for a while? Same goes to both of you.
You go first. You're the guest, man.
Yeah,
you tell us what you're.
So I've been here for 3 months now, and I've made some really good friends. Noor being one of them.
Thank you.
Some people that I've hung out with like quite a lot in my time here. Really get to know like how they go throughout uni and whatnot. And I didn't expect to be as sad to leave as I am.
Okay.
Because I expected to be really excited to go home to Australia, see my family, my friends, get back into like the nice weather and the good life there.
Christmas will be nice.
Yeah, it will be. But I'll be in Barcelona for that.
Summer, man. It's be summer.
Yeah, it'll be summer. But it would be really sad to leave. I've honestly had such a great time.
Would you come back?
I would.
Like,
I would come back.
What would be your 3 like top things before we say like what would you rate like your first? Just 3 things, just quickly like 3 things.
3 things. Okay, it's a hard one to sum up into 3 things. I think the Bucks Surf Weekend. I don't know if you guys have been on that before.
Like the championship
the
one.
championship one in Newquay. I went on that with a few of the course friends that I'd made, and we stayed in a house. And that weekend was just really fun and like a really cool. And I got really close with them, my course mates and what they're about. So that was really good. I turned 21 here and threw a make-your-own hat party at my flat out of all sustainable materials.
That's so niche.
Yeah, that'll be nice number 2. And then we went out into town, and there were some funky hats. And there was a £10 best hat prize actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was cool.
I like that.
And then my 3rd one would probably just be the surfing here and getting into surfing and learning a new skill, which I thought was really awesome.
That's cool. I like that.
It's my 3.
What about you? Just quickly.
Just quickly, well, nothing really. I just
I'm happy to be honest.
I'm happy to leave.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I've made my presence here on the campus. I've met really cool people like you and Rev, some other people as well onto this campus. But it's nice. It's a different experience, like Rev said. It's very interactive. People are very close, and that's what I like. You just start networking, and that's basically it. I don't really make fun of it. I just want to go.
And that's fair enough, to be honest.
It's the end of the chapter.
Classic business students call it networking instead of making friends.
We are, it's an end of a chapter. Like you say, every chapter has to have an end. This is the end of this chapter.
That's true. That's a good point.
Poetically said. And I think that about concludes this episode of PRJX this week. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you next Friday, it will be.